So it is fucking boiling. And Jared Leto is still an insufferable prick. Welcome to episode 11 of the Wrong Kind of Music podcast. We are back today. We thought we'd get some sexy on the show, so we have Liam Keel back. The regular, you know who he is, but we've also got Pete Crenshaw, singer of Kudos, ex-singer of that other band I forget the name of. All the bands. Conquest by consent.
Well, not really. Not ex-singer.
Doesn't matter. They broke up. No one cares.
Still going. No, still going.
We're going to kick off straight with the news. The news! Still sweating like fuck. So there's quite a lot happened in June. At the beginning of the month, Dunham Day released the video for their song False Hope. It's a performance-style video. I think it really does capture the character of the band, definitely. You guys seen it?
Yeah. Quite liked it. Obviously, I love the song. It's one of those songs that kind of crept up on me on the album. There was other songs that were my sort of favourite, but it just always sat there, and I fucking love it.
Yeah.
The videos, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, amazing video. Brilliant guys. Love those guys. Go back a long way with them. The video they made is brilliant. I love the whole set, the smoke, the fence, the song, everything.
I love the simplicity. It is that they've just got a big open area. They've got this fence that they use and that sort of diffuses the light.
It really captures the energy of those guys. Those guys have fucking
right,
infinite energy that's just on display all the time. And
great video. A couple of bands have announced some gigs and a couple of bands have announced some festival appearances. First off of those was The Crawling have announced that they're playing Mammoth Fest. Mammoth Fest is a festival over in England. It's not on the scale of like Download or Bloodstock. It's a bit smaller, it's indoors, but it seems to be run by some pretty passionate guys and they get some really good bands in. So
Bloodstock was indoors when it started, so
for
Little Acorns,
exactly. Yeah, I've always said that festivals should always aim to start small and build up. I know there was a couple of guys down south tried to start a festival and just tried to go big from the beginning, and it never really worked. So
was it the infamous Phil Fest?
That's the one. Yes, that is it.
Brilliant.
Couple of gigs announced. Crowbar have announced that they're playing Belfast on October 3rd. Last time Crowbar played at the Limelight 2, I thought it was a banging gig.
They also had 10 Ton Slug and Two Tails of Woe supporting. Jesus,
I actually think it'll be hard to beat that because the lineup for that gig was so good with the support. It was the perfect support. Unless they do the same thing again, and I'd have no objection to that.
I think they've announced who's supporting them actually, and I can't remember who it is, but I don't think it's anyone local.
Okay. Touring support maybe?
I think it's a touring support.
I know the Crowbar are playing with Rage and Speedhorn around that time, so if Rage and Speedhorn were brought over alongside them, I would have no complaints about that.
I might leave the camera at home for that one if they did.
Another gig announcement, Doyle, who is one of the Misfits. Doyle. A band that I'll confess I'm not overly familiar with. Obviously everyone knows the logo, like it's pretty iconic.
You gotta be aware of the legendariness of it. And So Long Till the Seance supporting them as well.
So Long Until the Seance supporting, which is no surprise because I think they've been on tour with a lot of that style of bands.
It's a perfect match.
They supported Michael Graves, ex-Misfits singer as well at one point.
And there's another sort of gothy type band that they supported. The name's in the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it.
Wednesday 13.
It's a different one. I can't remember. Some news. Jordy Thompson, who I suspect we will end up talking about on every single podcast. His sort of stoner metal band, Spirit Runner, now have a drummer. If you've noticed the guy who's always out wearing Mastodon t-shirts, this guy called Colby Mack. He's horrible. I can't believe they're going to put up with him, but there you go. I'm only joking, Colby.
Well, I have to say it's good to see that whatever medication Jordy's on has now cured his fear of drummers. So
cheeky gobs. A lot of those bands are coming together. I think it's I can't remember the other one. The other one has the full lineup as well now.
I think that's a bit scary as well. Like he's got so many bands and they were all wee bits and pieces.
They've
and
actually
he's starting to put them all together.
Congenital Abnormalities, another one of his bands. They've got a new vocalist as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember that guy's name, and I didn't make a note of it, so apologies for that. Talking about new members of bands, Acid Age also have a new member. Eddie left recently. All good in the hood, so far as we're told anyway. They have taken on Addie Bailey, who is the singer of English Dogs, an English sort of hardcore punk band. The only reason I know English Dogs is because
did they not play here?
They did play here, but if you remember back when the Prodigy first got a guitarist, they got a guy called Giz Butt.
That's where I know the name from.
And Giz Butt was in English Dogs. That's how I was aware of them.
I knew the name, but it's like I'd never heard them, and it's like, well, I must have read them somewhere.
It means Jude will be in two bands, both of which have members who are resident in England. If they can manage to make that work, fair play to the lads. But
I would be very wary of that.
It seems like a tricky one to me. Yeah, but fair play to them. There's been some activity on mental deficiencies.
Yes.
Social media sites. Do you remember Mental Deficiency?
I saw them a couple of times.
Yeah.
They supported. Was it Gamma Bomb they supported, or
probably they were fit for that?
I've seen them at Pigstock once before. They're very good.
Yes.
They did a whole big set where they had like orderlies bringing them out on leashes and
in the tent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Were you there too? There too. It's a good crack.
I always thought Mental Deficiency were a bit of a laugh, but musically it left a wee bit to be desired.
Yeah.
Personally.
I mean, there's nothing amazing there musically, but it's all about having fun.
I see they're a live band, I think.
See, I'm no crack. I take it too seriously sometimes. I'm starting to watch bands going, everyone's having a laugh, and I'm going, oh, don't look at it.
And I get fucking slagged off for being the miserable girl.
I think the other thing with Mental Deficiency, and it's just my opinion, I think humour can be tied to a point in time a lot.
Yeah.
So what was funny 10 years ago may not be funny now. You know, if you go back and watch old TV series that were meant to be hilarious.
But they're probably not going to come out and do the exact same.
Well, that's what I'm hoping.
That's
the point I was going to make. I hope they come out with something fresh and something new and something relevant.
And Alex won't. He's not the kind of boy that's just going to sit and dwell on the old stuff. He will probably have a lot of new shit to have a crack at.
And he's very politically minded.
Yeah.
So I could see them coming out and rather than doing songs about RoboCop and Terminator, doing stuff about
Trump or something.
I was going to say Trump, but I think
Brexit or all that shit.
Yeah. I don't know. They're probably sitting watching this going, no.
why would we not sing about RoboCop?
We're singing about RoboCop, you dicks.
Yeah. We love RoboCop too.
Another music video has been released this month that we should have mentioned at the start there. Molar Bear released a video for Bone and Teeth. If you didn't hear what we thought of Molar Bear, then you need to work your way back through the podcast because we've done a
amazing band,
reasonably in-depth review of the album.
We did.
And I think to a degree we were all at least impressed to agree with it.
Well, I love the shit out of it. But
we will be talking about them in a bit as well.
There's also
the gig reviews.
Words That Burn video.
Yeah, but they're southern.
I thought you wanted to talk about that.
I did mention that. I did say I'll make an exception. I'll make the exception. Words That Burn have a new song out that I can't remember the name of again. I'll stick the name below. It's superb. It is so good. As I say, we generally don't cover southern stuff here. But this is just
check it out.
It is just so good. I had to mention it. They're a band that seem to be definitely on the verge of making it.
They're already signed and touring Europe. I mean,
they're touring all over the place. They're just back from. I think they were in Serbia the other day.
A lot of good
places. Yeah, definitely a great band. So I would say check them out. And then one last bit of news. We'll congratulate Senescence, who have been added to the Bloodstock lineup.
Well deserved.
Yep, they're playing the
Jaeger stage.
The Jaeger stage, which
quite interesting to see 5 of them because it's it's about the size of this table.
It is. It's literally a little tent sitting beside a bar if you haven't been to Bloodstock. But I've anytime I've seen bands there, I've already enjoyed them. I've seen Two Tales of Woe have played there. Slatner have played there.
I saw Voodoo playing there.
I can see Dwayne taking
really
off
good.
into the crowd or something. I remember Dwayne years ago, back when he was on November Deadlist, as new Senescence vocalist, and hard to keep him still. Like I couldn't see him staying on a small stage.
There's a band I seen play there a good lot of years ago called Curb Grinder, and the front man is the drummer. So
sweet.
I was talking to them before, and they always complained about how they wanted the drums at the front of the stage.
Yeah.
but so many venues just weren't capable of doing that. But the fact that stage is so small, the back of the stage is the front of the stage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that suited them well. That's pretty much us for the news this month. I think, I don't know about you guys, but I was surprised that whenever you start actually making notes of how much is going on within the local scene, it's actually it's quite an active scene. You know, there's quite a lot going on. So yeah,
good to see.
And congratulations to all those bands that are getting gigs and putting out videos and stuff, because that hard work pays off.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's enough news for us. I think we'll move on to this month's gig reviews.
Gig reviews!
So the first gig we have to talk about from May is a pretty obvious one.
Yeah.
It was what these podcasts have been leading up to. The Metal to the Masses grand final featuring Cursed Son, Death of a Salesman. I'm having to look down at this, you'd think I'd fucking know this, but Cursed Son, Death of a Salesman, Lockhorns, Thunderwolf, Oracle, and Kidos. And we're not going to do this the way we usually would.
No.
We all know who won Oracle.
Yeah.
They went
so.
away with the win. We'll talk at the end about whether we think they deserved it or not. We just let the cat out of the bag, I think. But first up in the night, Cursed Son. Cursed Son on at Metal to the Masses. What did you reckon, man?
I really enjoyed them. You always end up enjoying them. I think they suffered from bad sound in that place.
Okay.
The sound wasn't great. Now there was a decent enough crowd as well, because obviously being the final, a lot of people had sort of turned up for the whole thing, so the vibe was good, everyone was there, but I don't know, just there was something a wee bit just not quite.
It might have been just, you know, the
that
thing
venue's
was going on
notorious.
first. You know, you're almost still the sound guy, still fucking getting his
That's
sound right.
very
And
possible. I did think they suffered from being on first.
perhaps. And
I think if there
kind of my
if there was
fault, because James asked me to draw the names.
Well, I
Oh,
don't,
you said you fixed it? Is that
no,
what-
he's like, here you go,
Scandal.
pick it out. And I was like, Cursed Son. Andrew was like, you fucking.
Yeah, I do think if there had been a wee bit more energy and life in the room, there might have been a wee bit more energy and life in Cursed Son.
Yeah.
I think that would have helped them. But
Did a great set, as always.
yes, they
The thing
did.
is, they
Love watching
don't,
those guys.
they don't know how to suck, basically.
No, they don't.
You know?
They're consistent band.
Yeah.
They're very, very consistent. Well, especially now. I keep saying with Steve, with them, I'm getting fucking tired of saying that, to be honest.
He's like old furniture now. He's like part of the crew already. Like,
Death of a Salesman on the night, what do you reckon?
I thought they were fucking excellent.
They definitely were. Yeah.
I thought their first heat was amazing, blew me away. The semi-final, they suffered from monitor problems. Dom and Pete couldn't hear each other playing guitar.
Yeah.
The set, they admittedly said suffered because of it. The final was all back on fucking point. I watched their set. It was fucking class.
Whenever terrible habit of forgetting his name. It's the lead singer.
Aiden.
I keep thinking Adrian for some stupid reason. Whenever Aiden was up on those monitors and had his hand up on the roof as well and was leaning forward into the crowd and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had been judging that and I seen that, I would have been thinking,
Winners.
I want that at my festival. I want that level of energy and that level of
Aiden's always
fucking
been like that.
in your face at my festival. And I would be surprised if up until the point of Oracle playing that they wouldn't have been sort of in the lead.
They definitely were for me. Again, I thought they suffered from sound issues. The first two bands for me, the sound just wasn't quite there. Maybe kind of affected them a bit. But yeah, Death of a Salesman, when they came on, it was a whole other level.
Relentless.
There's that sort of they've got that obvious. Well, they're a deathcore band, so they've got that obvious hardcore edge to them.
I think as well with keep going back. Obviously, the drumming. It's Rory, their drummer. He's one of the best drummers in this country, hands down, and that definitely drives him. Had a wee bit of an issue that night with his China cymbal kept falling off the riser.
that
but
riser isn't just big enough for what it's for,
and especially not the way he plays.
I've seen that at other gigs.
Yeah, so people Dom a couple of times had to try and put it back up and stuff, and
there was a couple of myself included and a couple of people around us, because sometimes if you're seeing a hardcore band within a metal crowd, you're kind of containing yourself a wee bit.
Yeah,
But
too many people up.
they played their latest release, and right at the end there's a big heavy as fuck beat down, and it was just at that point.
Heretics.
The
you-
pain went down. It's like, I don't know what the
You
fuck.
and Claire kind of just abandoned all
And I was-
metal etiquette and thought,
was-
fuck yous.
I was just aware enough of who was behind me to make sure.
It was really annoying because Keto's draw last to play last. I
Uh-huh.
had to stay relatively sober all night, so I was just standing there with my fucking water, being like, "This is fun." Like, but when that riff come on, it was hard not to fucking get up.
Yeah, and the thing is, that new song as well, I think it's whenever you put it in context with the gig and the rest of their set, it shows they've taken a whole nother step up again.
I think that song's way more distinctive than the rest of their stuff.
It's maybe a bit sort of a bit more
It's another
melodic in
evolution,
places
like,
and stuff. But I think that
latest
lets the nastiness breathe more. I think
I'd agree with that.
I'm looking forward to hearing whatever else they're coming out with now.
Yeah. Lockhorns on the night. What was the opinion?
Again,
Fantastic.
yeah, they're always great. For me, the sound picked up dramatically for them,
Uh-huh.
and I thought that they definitely benefited from that. But I was still just in awe from Death of a Salesman, and to me, just thought Lockhorns were overshadowed by that.
They'd have been the first band on the night with a single guitarist.
Good
So
point.
I think that's.
Were they the only
really
band with
helped.
one guitarist, actually?
Yes.
Yes, they
Yeah.
would have been.
And for the fucking sound that comes out of them for having one guitarist,
Well,
yeah,
it's
isn't it?
impressive.
I think it's.
Junior, their guitar player, he's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I love watching him play. He's
Okay.
just like him and Anto from Senescence. There's just something about there's not just the style of the way they play, but the way they physically move on stage that just really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. There's always something really fucking cool about headbanging with dreads as well.
Yeah.
It just looks fucking awesome, especially some of the shots you get and stuff.
Yeah,
where
you
it's
can get
literally just everywhere.
It's inspired me.
Plus,
I'm
he
getting
also-
dreads now.
He always has this big shit-eating grin on his face as well. Like, anytime you see somebody on stage that's constantly smiling and enjoying themselves, you can't not get sucked into that.
I think on the night, Lockhorns were the first band who had the crowd in their hand.
Oh yeah.
When they came on, there was lots of people, not just up front, but
Everyone
up
had
front.
arrived, everyone had enough drinks, it was time to
Plus,
party.
I think
like,
Alex, out of the first three bands, Alex is probably the best frontman for that, in that he's got a very kind of he's got a just great way of dealing with a crowd, like, and he can get you riled up, he can get you,
yeah.
you know, he just knows exactly how to.
He's fucking brilliant. I think if I was a lady, I'd probably fancy him.
Okay.
He's fucking
Well, I'm not a lady
impressive.
and I fancy him, so.
Yeah.
There you go, you're better than fucking me at that.
Yeah, I thought they were brilliant. I think that was the big thing about Lockhorns, the way they got the crowd on board I thought was just so good. People singing along despite the fact that those songs, not all of them are out yet. At that stage, I think
they'd only
about
released Blood and Oil.
Blood and Oil,
Yeah, the album wasn't out
Stagnant,
yet.
yeah.
when they go.
Talking about the album later, aren't we?
We are talking about the album later, so stay tuned. Then next up was the winners of the night, Oracle.
No, you've
No, it
just
wasn't.
gone completely missed Thunderwolf.
I've missed Thunderwolf.
Which-
That's not intentional. What did you reckon of Thunderwolf?
Love Thunderwolf.
Yes.
It's fucking inspiring to see young guys coming out, giving it their fucking all, fucking playing with the big boys, not giving a shit. They're nice as fucking guys as well. Like it's really just a play. The whole night back in the wee green room, it was just brilliant. The crack was brilliant. Everything was cool as fuck. It was a really good time was had by all. Like it was.
Yeah, I enjoyed them. I really did. I think no real surprise. They weren't. They kind of showed that they're not as sort of seasoned as the rest. They haven't been around as long.
Yeah.
They were definitely kind of punching above their weight in the final a wee bit.
I would
I
love to
think-
see them in like 3, 4, or 5 years time.
Not even that. I reckon a couple of years.
Yeah, not even that.
I reckon a couple of years.
There's more to fucking
those,
get shit done, like.
those guys will be. They'll be able to kick the shit out of anybody at that point.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I thought was unfortunate on the night, and I guess you could say I'm partially to blame for this, when all the other bands were playing, it didn't feel like a band competition, because it felt like everyone was up for all the bands. Whenever Thunderwolf was playing, there was a visible, the crowd protracting from the front.
I didn't like that.
And it being their mates and their fans all seem to be up to support them, and that's what you get at shitty band competitions.
Yeah.
But
then that's not their fault.
It is definitely, that is
by
no way a slur on the band.
Could have just been naturally when everyone went for a cigarette.
It wasn't.
No, I think there's a lot of people just sort of thought because they're not. I don't know. Maybe it's part of that whole Belfast click thing.
I knew you were going to use the word click.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So,
but I get what you mean.
It sort of had that kind of vibe about it. It's like, oh, we don't know these guys, so we're not gonna.
I know what you mean. If you were down to support Lockhorns, you probably knew who Kidos were. You probably knew who Death of a Salesman were, etc., etc. But if you were down to support Thunderwolf, or sorry, if you were down to support any of those other bands, you wouldn't have been as familiar with Thunderwolf, and so maybe why.
To me, then that's a reason then to stay. It's like, right, well, I've seen all these other bands a load of times. I know I'm going to see them again.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Here's somebody I should actually maybe pay attention to.
Yeah. And then after that was actually Oracle, or Snorkel, as Chief loves me to call them. Chief, you got your towing license, Chief? I don't know why I'm asking that. He's not even on fucking Facebook, so that he's watching us. Oracle, there was something about Oracle's show that just my jaw was on the floor. They seemed to get
it clicked. Just everything just went.
The fucking energy. Someone else described Jason as someone who just fucking is like an animal in a cage when he's on stage. Yeah. And he's like that. He's like, he wants off. It's almost like
it's almost like a tiger just pacing back and forth, staring at you, going, drop these fucking bars and let's see who's laughing.
You know, do you ever see like hardcore vocalists that come off the stage into the crowd?
Yeah.
It's like watching one of those, except they've been told if you jump off, you're going to get shot in the head. So stay on that stage. Sure. It feels like he just wants more space.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be good at them. I'm not saying them in Bloodstock. But I think having a bigger stage, I think that would be amazing.
I've seen them play with Oracle many times. It's always been impressive. You can, the drums and the bass especially, just gets the goosebumps on the arms. Going like they're powerful.
The thing is, Jason doesn't really do much. He just walks from side to side. You have other vocalists that'll headbang a bit more, they'll jump out, they'll do. But there's just something mesmerising. It's like I said, you're just waiting for him. Like you said, you think he's about to go off and kill somebody.
I'm kind of paying attention to very small details here. But he stamps the stage, right? And he wears these big heavy boots. And there's almost, I think if he wore a pair of trainers, that would actually detract from him a bit. You just need him with those big fucking boots stomping that stage, and I love that. He's got such stage presence.
Yeah.
I thought the lights during Oracle just seemed to
pick up.
Oh, fuck me, I've lost the word.
Elevate.
Flashy lights, very fast flashy lights, strobes. Yes. Fuck me. So much strobes.
Yeah,
during Oracle's
it kind of works for their music.
It definitely does, because it's got that sort of intensity and that aggression, and the fact that we're still able to play during that was pretty intense as well. Fucking great. And they play it. They're really getting to the point as well. So you don't always get this with local bands. Everyone knows the songs now, so you get people singing.
Well,
along.
they made the good decision of releasing that EP. A while ago, so everyone had a long time.
They released it just
to get well into
just at the right time, so people weren't getting tired of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was still fresh, and and plus it's only 4 songs. Don't really count that first one.
No,
because it's an intro. But it's 4 songs, so people will still keep listening to it, but they were just something else. It was. I knew they'd be good, but like you said, just as soon as they come on, just something went right.
Yeah. And then last up in the night was, I don't know if you've heard of this band, Kidos.
Who fucks that?
No.
Bunch of wankers.
Sounds stupid.
Kidos on the night. My only problem with that set was with myself, that I was fucking burnt out by that stage. I was still trying to give it beans and stuff, but you're kind of like, fuck, it's been a long night, and
it was a long night.
Heavy bands. I thought Kidos played the way Kidos play every single time they come out. They fucking smash it. They play those 3 songs that they've got off the EP, which I fucking love and always sing along to.
That's right. Actually, I remember I could give an inside perspective from this. You were up singing along every song. I think I actually threw the mic a few times. The crowd were fucking brilliant. I think it's the best fucking crowd Kidos have ever played in front of.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, they were so fucking receptive and so energetic, and it was just amazing. Well done to everyone who came down and supported that, and fucking keep it up, because
I think that's the same. I mean, there's so many bands that I've been going to see over the years where I like to see them live, but then they put material out, and as much as I love going out to see them, the material doesn't really click. So I'm not learning the lyrics, I'm not getting to know the songs, and then I'm going down and just kind of chilling out and watching it.
Headbanging away.
When bands put out songs that are genuinely fucking good, then you listen to the songs, you get to know the songs, and then when you go down to that gig, the gig is just so much better.
Yeah.
You know?
Good to fucking hear.
So we got more material out.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually
everyone, all the bands.
It did bring a little surprise for this podcast. There's a exclusive new Ketos song.
You didn't, dude. Stay tuned right to the very end. There will be a brand new Ketos song that you can listen to in its entirety. Yes.
Only here.
Only here. So
Only here.
Exclusive on TWKOM podcast.
TWKOM.
Yeah, on the night they were fucking. Yeah, you guys just your usual level, like. But
it was easy because see when the fucking crowd are giving it stacks, it's
well, that's and
the fact naturally, like,
you had so many bands before you, and every one of them had just come out and fucking blasted and played as pretty much as well as they could. You know that you're bound to feed off that and just go right.
It's hard not to fucking
go
crazy when everyone else is like.
Of all the of the 3 years I've been going to the Metal to the Masses, this was afterwards you're just like, Jesus, I would not like to have to be the one to pick this.
Yeah.
You know.
You've kind of touched on this, so I'll ask you anyway. Were Oracle the right guys to go through?
I think so. Yeah. On the night, they just there was just something kind of clicked for them, and they just everything about their set was amazing. I think I spoke to Simon Hall afterwards, and he was saying, he's like there was bits because he said. Lock Horns and Death of a Salesman were going into the bag for bands that may get
consideration for Jaeger.
Yeah. But he said they had bits of Death of a Salesman he really liked, bits of Lock Horns he really liked, but Oracle had everything.
Yeah.
They just everything they did was exactly what he wanted.
I know you've every right to be biased to a degree, but
I mean, see,
be honest, right band to go through
on the night. I felt like every fucking band should have went through. It was just amazing set after amazing set after amazing set, and I guess it just comes down to what Simon wants.
Yeah, that's it,
and that's fucking cool. And but I mean, we're obviously a very different band than Oracle, with all the fucking clean singing and all the solos and all the rest. So can't get that annoyed. Like you obviously wanted somebody fucking young and energetic and brutal and that's what he fucking got. They're a good fit and fair fucking play to them.
To be honest, I think Hughes boys will be in the back of his head now as well. There's no way.
Was talking to Simon and he was saying about how he's looking forward to more of it and all, but it's only inspiring us to do better and put out more.
How long have you been together?
Those dudes have been together for a few years and they'd been trying to get me to sing for them for a while, but I always had Conquest on the go. So when that finally stopped being as busy, I was like, you know what? Yes, I will fucking come and sing with you.
So it's been, a year, 2 years?
Yeah, and it was so easy to step into because they'd everything sorted out, all the songs, a whole load of lyrics even, everything, they'd been rehearsed. It was just literally just stepping into it and taking off. And those guys are pro as fuck. I'm sure they'll not mind me saying they're hard working and put in a lot of fucking effort and energy, probably more than I do.
But you're the singer, you just have to carry the mic and you're alright.
It's like, here you go, dude, here's the words, there you go. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll take that. But after doing it for a long time and coming and crafting new stuff, it's only getting better and better and better, and I've only become better and better friends with them, and couldn't have fucking had a better thing happen to me. So
excellent.
Okay, so a few more informal reviews, as I like to refer to them. Some of the gigs we had this month in Belfast were Volbeat for a start, and I believe you were there.
Yes, I was down covering that. Verdict, absolutely brilliant night. Now, I would be a fan of Volbeat, but I always sort of said you could maybe get one or two great albums out of like the 7 or 8 that they've got, and having seen them live, I realised that's bullshit. They've probably got about 3 quality albums worth of stuff. Like they're just so good. It's just good fun. Like there's no airs or graces about it, and they know how to work a crowd. It's sort of like I think I described it as if the Misfits were playing Roy Orbison songs. it kind of has that bit of a vibe about it.
Is that sort of deep singing voice?
He has a wee bit of a Danzig Elvis kind of thing going on.
I think they're fucking brilliant.
Yeah, and like
Awesome.
they can be heavy as fuck, they can be melodic as fuck, and yeah, it was such a good atmosphere.
Just out of curiosity, what did you make of the Telegraph building for gigs?
My second gig there, and I like it. It's it was a bit weird because they had no lights on when people were coming in, so everyone had their phones out with the torches because there's no lights really around the walls. Usually, all the light comes from the stage, and it was just purple when people were coming in. So everyone's like, "Fuck, where am I going?" Which they might want to fix that.
That's very different to anything I've been to in it, but I've only been to raves.
Yeah.
And they have, see the whole way along the ceiling, they've got like gear the whole way with lasers and lights and everything kind of pointing.
But is all that on when people are coming in before anything started?
You don't have that at raves.
Well, I suppose
you don't have people coming into the building waiting for the music to come on.
That's true.
Starts.
Yeah, but no, it was great. The weird thing was the support.
Who was it?
Dublin band called Fine Club.
Seen them, don't like them.
They're okay, and the crowd actually quite liked them. I thought they were an odd choice, and they were decent. But the thing that sort of stuck out as a bit weird is, obviously, if you know the band, you see the singer. He's obviously still worshipping at the altar of Cobain. Especially the music they play. They're that 90s kind of indie grunge sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
And he's like, at one point he's like, right, Belfast, we're up here. Let's keep this party going. We're going to do something special for you. Let's really do this. And they played Heart Shaped Box, and it's like, yep,
weird.
let's keep the party going. Here's a song about cancer.
Who parties the Heart Shaped Box? I actually like that. I'm not a big Nirvana song, but I really like that song.
I love that. I love the song, and they did a really good version of it. But it kind of killed the vibe a wee bit because up to that point, the crowd had been bouncing along.
There's so many Nirvana songs you could have covered that would have lifted the fucking atmosphere.
I think that was a poor choice. But to be honest, I think there could have been any handful of bands that would have been a better support. They went down really well, and they it was decent.
They must be doing something right because they've supported Frank Carter, they've supported Volbeat Nice, so
part of me, the cynical side, would say there's I think they've probably got people paying them on the things. But
speculation.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Maybe.
Who are these people and how much do you
Well, this is how the game's played, though. You have to employ bookers.
It's not who you know, it's who you blow.
Well, no, that's
that's a super hands from Peep Show quote. I didn't come up with that.
Did you make it to the Volbeat show?
Unfortunately, I think I was in Spain at the time on holiday, so
I'd rather be in Spain.
I would have liked to have gone. I do like their stuff there.
Monster Magnet. Who made it to Monster Magnet?
I was down for Monster Magnet. Unfortunately, I only stayed for the first 3 songs that I was photographing because I had to get a bus back to my folks' house. But I'm raging because they were fucking great.
Yeah.
They were like the new album's awful. I'll just it's bad. But live they were just unbelievable. They were destroying the place. Support band, band called Pandejo. I think they're probably Mexican.
I was about to say it sounds Mexican.
What does that mean?
I think it means asshole.
I was sure it meant something really sorry.
I think it might do.
Because every time I'm in Spain, they keep shouting at me, and what does that mean?
Asshole sounds about right then.
Yeah.
But then here's I'm gonna have to have a gripe. I honestly think the Limelight now have a policy to have shit lights, because here's a band with a trumpet player and trombonist, and they're playing.
Sitting in the dark.
It's like mariachi metal almost. Big fucking and chunky.
Oh,
they were really good.
Sweet.
But yeah, it was just dark. It was just reds and purples, and Monster Magnet weren't much better either.
I wonder if they got someone with a sort of mentality of metal band, metal lights.
But that's not metal lights to me either. Yeah. Metal, like I think of metal lights, I think Iron Maiden, I think Metallica. It's. Yeah. Like, and we're not asking for that kind of a show, but even
you wouldn't want that at a Behemoth show.
No, but yeah, that's a different kind of vibe. Like the Crawling, I expect to have just dark lights and not be well lit, but up tempo, fast kind of bands that are.
That's the point that I'm trying to make. That someone's not listening to the music and matching lights to it, but they're just going, someone told me this band fall into this slot, so I'm going to do these lights.
The thing is, the guy doing the lights, Darren McVeigh, was there as well. He was telling me it's the same guy that did the lights for North Lane.
Okay.
And he said the lights there were horrendous. especially for I think they had Symptoms of Silence and
Dream Awake
supporting.
Was it
and apparently Dream Awake where the lights were just nothing.
Was it Limelight 1?
For Monster Magnet?
The original one?
Yeah.
There's no excuse then because they
none whatsoever.
From what I've been told, they spent a fucking fortune on the
Well,
lights.
we've all been at gigs where the lights are amazing in there, you know, and whenever bands bring their own lighting guy.
Meshuggah, Trivium, a few ones that they have amazing lights at those gigs in there.
Do you want to Monster Magnet Trivium? Right, we shall
but
move
general
on.
Overall, gig was great.
One of the gigs I attended this month was. I confess I don't remember the name of the first band. They were splitting up and it was their last gig ever and it was not my cup of tea, so
fuck them.
Pretty much. So the rest of the lineup that night was Disconnect, Baylor and Coil Guns. We'll start off with Disconnect. Jesus Christ, those guys are fucking heavy these days.
I fucking love Disconnect.
And they just keep delivering. I seen them in the Warzone not that long ago. That night in Voodoo, it would have been nice for them to have a bit more of a crowd and get a bit more of a reaction coming from them.
Yeah.
First heat, we could just, and I actually was really impressed. I was surprised they didn't get.
They were,
they fucking blew us away.
They had one tune and it's just this heavy riff and this half step beat and
it's so engaging.
It's fucking brilliant.
There's something about it. I mean, I keep talking about hooks. I want hooks in all music. I want a big bit that draws me in. I want a bit I can sing along with. There's none of that in Disconnect. Yet they keep me engaged for their entire set. I'm not standing there thinking about, oh fuck, we're running out of cheese. We should really buy some cheese in Tesco tomorrow. There's no mind drifting or anything.
I want cheese.
Although I'm mostly thinking of cheese, so the fact that I wasn't thinking of cheese during Disconnect,
well done,
sings their praises. They were brilliant. They're so good. I really want to see them again.
I haven't seen them since that Metal to the Masses heat, and I need to see them again because they were so good that night.
It's brilliant. Got to the point where if someone puts on 4 bands and one of them's Disconnect, I will probably go to the gig.
Despite the others.
Unless it's Johnny McKee who's put them on with 4 indie bands, you know.
Yeah. But no, one indie band, one mariachi band, and a DJ. We love you, Johnny, but please.
Yes, Disconnect were great, but the real reason we were down that night were a band called Baylor. I've talked about Baylor in the podcast before. That was the first time I got to see them live. I was a wee bit wiped out after a long day at work, so I just kind of chilled out and watched them. But they will be a band the next time I go to see them. I think
they might be one of the busiest bands in
Yeah.
Ireland. Have you seen that tour schedule?
I will be going nuts the next time I see them.
Are they not coming up here again fairly soon?
Yes,
they are.
Yeah.
End of June with Deafy Salesman and fucking Don Die.
Oh yes.
Well,
fuck.
We'll talk about that in the gig section.
Okay.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah, they're one of those bands that you can't. I mean, we talked about how Jason from Oracle is like someone who's not allowed off stage. It's like someone will hold these guys not to get off the stage and they just says, fuck off, fuck you, we will do whatever we want, we will go wherever we want, we will go completely nuts.
I'm gonna have a nightmare photograph.
I seen a video of him from Cork and the singer was hanging off the fucking roof.
If you think, if you've seen Hornets and they don't go quite as spastic as Hornets, but they go way, I actually think they've more aggression and the way they command the stage and the floor. And not just that, but the tunes are absolutely outstanding.
I think Hornets is an internalized aggression sort of thing.
Yes.
Sounds like Baylor are just an external aggression.
It's like someone turned Hornets inside out.
Yeah.
You know?
They
were absolutely brilliant. And again, if you don't like people swinging digs and spin kicks and all that sort of thing, maybe
karate.
Stand
No Great Loss style.
Stand towards the back.
It's like, are you watching No Great Loss or are you watching a karate tournament?
The headline band that night was Coil Guns, and I slid on before they came on, I have to admit, because I was just so damn tired that night. And I wasn't down to see them. I'd listened to them a wee bit before and I wasn't that impressed. So to me that night was all about Baylor and Disconnect. It was like a Tuesday night, by the way, just to give some context. And then the last gig we're going to talk about is a gig that I actively avoided going to.
Me too. I think I was pretty savage about it on the last podcast.
It sounds like my worst fucking nightmare, but you had a blast.
It was actually amazing.
Tragedy, the heavy metal tragedy.
Heavy metal, all heavy metal tribute to the Bee Gees and beyond. They did fucking loads of songs. They did Toto by Africa, all the Bee Gees tracks.
Or Africa by Toto?
Yes. And it was fucking amazing, actually. And It reminded me a lot, actually, of Steve Panther more than anything else because of all the crack in between the songs. They had band members that didn't even play instruments. The jobs it was to come out and just fuck about. Really cool guys as well. I think they're from New York or something. First with Dominus opening, they were fucking brilliant.
This was
Really?
my problem with it, right? You know, I've no problem with a band doing that stuff, but the lineup was just fucking wrong. You know, it's like
It actually was really good fun on the night. The only thing was, it was a Sunday night, and it was the Sunday night after the Medal of the Masses final, so there was a real attendance problem.
Yeah.
And I explained to them, I was talking about the whole Medal of the Masses thing, and that they had heard of it before, they knew what it was. It's like the final was Friday, I think everyone went to that, so not everyone's coming to this. But it was a brilliant show despite that. When they came on, everyone came up the front, the venue looked a bit more packed out. The new Voodoo it was in, which is brilliant now, it's been all renovated. Had Indominus starting, who were fucking amazing. We're talking about their single later on. And then Ketos were playing, which was brilliant fun. Then Scimitar, who were brilliant as well, and then Tragedy came on and they were brilliant.
4 brilliant bands. Good night.
It was really, really good. It suffered from being on a Sunday and the Sunday after the Masses final. If it had been maybe a Saturday on its own with no other gigs around it might have been more packed out.
Yeah.
But anyone who missed it missed out.
I think going off topic a wee bit, as we always do, sometimes whenever people review gigs, it seems to be a wee bit taboo to say that there wasn't many people there.
Yeah.
Or there was a poor turnout or something.
I think it's better to say it was good despite the fact there wasn't many people there.
I think it also needs to be highlighted as well. It's like, you know, if there are poor turnouts, it needs to be highlighted. It's like, right, people sort of say, oh, it's a shame that this venue's closing or that venue's closing or there's no new music or this and that.
Get the fuck out. And
come out and see. Like, I know so many people that will go religiously to the Limelight on a Saturday night and they'll stand in the same corner.
They'll listen to fucking Metallica,
and
Biscuit, Papa Roach, Tenacious D, all the same songs,
the same
all
songs
shit.
in the same order,
the same fucking order,
same people,
same iTunes
same
playlist. It's the same dude hits play around and fucks off.
And yet, you know, they'll always complain, oh, I wish I was doing something different. And it's like, well, come out on Wednesday night, these 3 great bands are playing.
I don't invite those people out. Those people are scum.
Oh yeah, they usually are. But those are the people you kind of want to try and get, because you know that if you get them to one of those gigs on a Wednesday night, they'll go, holy fuck. Because I was one of those people once, because I didn't know anybody, and you know, the people I lived with, none of them were into the same music, so I wouldn't go out to gigs on my own, and I would go to the same shitty places. Then I ended up living with somebody who says, right, let's go to this, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, fuck.
Like some of the best gigs I've been to, I've just ventured out to myself.
Oh, I do now. See now,
many a time, Andy from Cursed Son, if it wasn't for him babysitting me through some bad trips and getting too wasted, fuck knows where I would have ended up. But venture to a gig on your own. Don't give a fuck. Everyone's friendly. Everyone's nice. Like
a lot of the ones say to me as well, it's like, oh no, I couldn't go into work hungover the next day. So well, then don't get drunk.
Fuck work. Just be a zombie.
But no, they go like, well, I can't go out and not drink. It's like, well, it's not the Limelight. You know, you're going to see bands. You're not hammering the drinks into you. You're sitting, you're watching bands, and you're drinking a lot slower because you're actually paying attention to what's going on stage.
I tend to drink faster.
It can be pretty awkward going to gigs on your own sober though.
Oh yeah.
You know, but let's not dwell on that too much. I think we'll wrap that up as our reviews of this month's gigs, and we will move on to this month's, and in fact the first ever topic of the month. So this month's discussion is basically, in a nutshell, about would you go out to a gig on the 11th or 12th of July? I think everyone knows and everyone would acknowledge that regardless of how you see the events around those dates, the town can be a slightly less pleasant place, and I don't want to get into the politics of that. That's not what we're talking about. I just want to talk about, would you go out to a gig in town in the centre of Belfast on the 11th or 12th of July? And the reason it came to our attention was because there is a 2-venue festival, which is something I've never actually seen in Belfast before, not to this degree anyway. It's called Curfew Fest, and I guess to a degree we're giving the guys a wee bit of publicity here. It's split between 2 venues. Voodoo, which, if you know Belfast, is not too far from Primark. And then the second venue is the Black Box round in the Cathedral Quarter. According to Google Maps, that is an 11-minute walk between the 2. So it's not like 2 stages of a festival. There is a bit of distance in between there. I'll give you an idea of some of the bands that are playing there. It's THVS, Slowmatics, Catalan, Rory Neals, Narcats, there's a bunch more, but I'm not gonna go through them all.
No Spell Blood though. Love those
No
figures.
Spell Blood. I'll be honest with you, I'm not familiar
Slowmatics.
with
Did you
too
say
many of these.
Slowmatics?
I did say Slowmatics.
Slowmatics.
You are clearly the Slowmatic.
I am slow to the medic.
And not that we're trying to promote them, but it's £15 in advance if you're interested in going. Liam, we'll start with you. Would you go out to a gig? Not necessarily this one. It could be bands that you are well into and a band that a lineup that appeals a lot more. Would you go out on those dates to a gig? You would just avoid the town for a start?
I'd avoid the town. I appreciate what they're trying to do, and I think the thought behind it is, you know what, we need to claim this shit back. There should be no reason why we can't go into town, but we can't. I have a bit of history. I had something bad happen to me around that time. If I can help it, will leave the country, or at the very least, I will go back to my folks' house and leave Belfast.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't set foot in town.
It's just a nope.
Yep.
Pete?
I think it's a brilliant idea. Claim the date back. This date belongs to not anyone causing trouble. It belongs to everybody. We can go out and have gigs if we want. But at the same time, it's an alternative gig. And walking around looking alternative with a million steaks about looking for a fight.
Yeah.
Perhaps isn't the best idea.
No.
Gotcha. For personal safety. But maybe if it was a little more, the venues only across the street from each other or something.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to bounce from one to the other.
I think
but you have to go across the whole bloody town.
I'm thinking, see that corner by McDonald's there?
Yeah.
That's always, that's always a bit of a flashpoint.
That I was going to say that
Any Saturday night.
That becomes your flashpoint for between those two gigs.
It's
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I'm in two minds. As you guys say, it's not even the claiming the streets back or saying that it's our city, it's our town. We should be able to go out whenever we want, despite what else is on. It can be dangerous. That is the truth of it.
Yeah.
Like one person getting a kicking is fucking one person too many, and there's a legit risk of that, perhaps. If it happened, like
you start to think of well, what if 5 or 6 of us go out and we all stick together,
and then what if 10?
And whenever we're moving from venue to venue, we'll go with like 5 or 6 of us. But what fucking way is that to have a night out?
Plus, the guys that we're kind of worried about, that's their bread and butter. They'll be
numbers.
They'll go in their group. People, not a problem. To be fair, we could be blowing this all out of proportion. There may be, everyone may have pissed off by that stage, but it's
just nighttime, right? Isn't it?
Well, that's
not a risk worth taking.
Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And you're talking that's 6 or 7 o'clock. That
like, most people I know either fuck away off the somewhere down south, or go on holiday, or do something like have a family barbecue, or do something that involves not having to go out.
Yeah,
to get caught in traffic or caught in a riot. Or
even when I was younger, on the 11th, I would have made the point of going to the cinema in town every 11th. Whenever I was younger, as a sort of a they won't stop me from doing what I want to do, and I did do that. But when you're going to the cinema, you've got your wits about you.
You're not drinking.
You're not 8 pints deep. You're not standing the voodoo going, are we all going around a black box to see such and such a band? And everyone else says no, and you're like,
I'm not going to go then.
Fuck, I have to.
To be fair,
I have to cross the wasteland on my own.
When you look at the lineup from both places as well, it's kind of, there's not a lot of crossover. I
don't know most of them.
To be fair, I know Catlin are really great. I know Junk Drawer are good. Thrash Hat are not my bag.
Kev Bones,
but I would
Kev Bones,
but I would say, for the sake of argument and for the sake of discussion, because I don't really want to focus on what they've got. I want to more focus on the principle of it. Yeah. So in your mind, imagine that it's the Crawling and Draconis and.
Well, no, to be fair, like the voodoo gig lineup, there's a lot of stuff there that I would definitely, because I really want to check out Destroyers at one point.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of good shit. Right. But it's just. This is the only way. This is the only way that we make these dates safe, by doing shit like this. And I think maybe it takes.
Maybe it's going to pioneer something. Maybe other people from other scenes are going to start.
And maybe it takes people from the likes of us who say no, I'm not going to do it, to just go, you know what, fuck yous, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Now the thing that I didn't realise, whenever I seen this, it struck me as a new thing. It's not a new thing. This has been on the go for, I think,
On the actual 12th of July, or like a bit of either side, really?
No, on the 12th.
Because I remember
how many?
posted about it
how
on
many
Facebook, and Baggy
6 or 7
posted
Really?
saying it was always on the 12th. But
I've never actually seen it advertised.
Curfew. I've seen Curfew in Lavery's where they had it, like in the bunker, in the attic, in the back bar, so you didn't really need to leave the building.
That makes sense. That makes way more sense.
Like you didn't have to venture
that,
across city centre.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Like the fucking warriors in that movie passing New York, like looking around you, wondering what's going to happen. You just got to stay in one building. So
if it wasn't for the fact,
maybe in like Limelight Katie's, Limelight 2 or something would have been better.
Yeah,
but then again,
I think so. But then those venues do not want to open.
Aye, but here's the point though. This is clearly designed to go right. We're taking this fucking city back.
And we should.
And so to do it in one venue kind of doesn't really get, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Because everyone's going to go from their home.
Think about
get
Voodoo.
the fuck down to the venue.
Think about Voodoo. Think about Black Box.
Get home.
And that journey and everywhere in between. It's not close. It's actually literally the opposite ends of city centre.
That was the thing that threw me about it at the start.
Like literally any other bar would have been closer than the Black Box to Voodoo.
But then again, what other bars that are close
that want to have staff come in that want
because you've got maybe the apartment. They're not going to put any of this stuff on.
Or maybe they will. Apartment.
The apartment's watching this. For fuck's
apartment. If you're not watching this, fuck you.
But part of me's tempted just to go fuck it, but. I'm unemployed right now, so 15 quid's not a fucking small deal.
Neither is getting. I'm kind of for wearing a metal t-shirt.
Well, I got the shit fucking beat out of me just sitting in my house on the 11th of July. So
I'm on the.
So you probably would have been better going.
Unless they fucking kill me, they can't do any worse than they've already done. So yeah, fuck them.
I'm on the fence about it. I think if that was not two venues that were so far apart, and it was a load of bands that I'm genuinely into, if it was the Crawling and Lockhorns and Rupturation and Congenital Air Melodies,
like
I think
a better split.
Limelight Warzone.
That's not far at all. Yeah.
No, you've got Weatherspoons.
Dublin Road.
You have Weatherspoons and Dublin Road. Dublin Road is obviously a major fucking area as well.
So Weatherspoons open on the 12th. Couldn't be.
Maybe not.
I saw a lot of cheap
recipes.
But the thing is, Dublin Road is just a fucking. It's a
crazy place.
You're right, because they actually do.
And Lisburn Road, and did you ever see the rubbish after?
One thing I wanted to do, if we were going to discuss this, I thought it only right that the guys who run the festival have their say. So we actually have a statement from them explaining what they're trying to achieve, how they feel about it, and just a little bit more in detail. So here we go, this is their statement. Why should any one day be off limits for gigs or any other social activity? No one is forced to go or no one's forced to play. That's up to you. Saying something is a no-go for any reason just puts other areas and days at risks of being treated the same. Instead, we should minimise the effect other people can have on our lives. On top of this, the music that would be generally happening on such dates isn't going to be mainstream. Let's be honest about that. Not many Ed Sheeran fans are heading out in the 12th for a gig. So where are we at? Well, anyone chatting about going out probably likes weird music. We're all hippies, punks, metalers, goths, indie kids or hipsters. We're already marginalised most of the time. Get on with stuff. So why let one divisive day change that? The first curfew was in 2001, maybe 2002. We used the front page over 2 floors. People thought we were mad. The place was jammed. Extra staff had to be called, and I even had to help shift glasses and keep things going. There is a desire to be out. Maybe something like curfew is sticking the fingers up at some sort of establishment or authority, but I reckon for the most part it's an outlet. Who the hell wants to be stuck indoors with a mountain of bread and nothing but shite TV? Not me. I live in Belfast because I want as close as I can get to in Northern Ireland, a metropolitan and active social life. To sum up, in 8 or how many fests we've ran, no one was hassled for it being the 12th. We've been in the front page, Lavery's, Pavilion, Black Box, and no one batted an eyelid. The first year poster even had orange amps marching and orange flags. No one cared except those that thought we were mad. Divisions are dangerous. Feeling like a particular day or area is off limits because of who you are. Divisions cause so many issues in the world. Everyone has divisions: religion, politics, education, employment, even football teams. I never expect all divisions to go,
But when those divisions cause so much disparity and even violence, I guess we could all agree something needs done. I don't expect any one gig to change that, but hopefully one gig leads to another, which leads to another, which leads to something else.
So there's some really good gigs coming up in June. So as we do every month, I'm going to take a quick rattle through those, and we might stop and talk about some of them. We might not, but here is some
upcoming gigs!
9th of June in the Mandela Hall, there is The Exploited, probably one of the biggest punk bands about these days. They've got
biggest punk bands ever.
Yeah, they've got Wardemise supporting, which is some of the guys that we would know quite well. The Defects, and Wardemise are allegedly going to be filming that gig and putting it out as a sort of a live show sort of thing.
Nice.
Not too sure who's filming it though. Don't know.
Nah,
no idea.
Some chump, I'm sure.
Yeah. On the 10th of June, we have got a band called Rolo Tomasi. They're playing at the Belfast Empire. Support comes from Hornets and No Great Loss.
That'll be brilliant.
Yeah.
No great loss. No Great Loss. I want to go to every No Great Loss show. Those guys are fucking brilliant.
I saw them last time they played here. It was in Voodoo, and Hornets were supporting again. And oh Jesus, it was just fucking
off the wall.
It was devastation. Rollo Tomasi took a long time off, and then they came back and did them a world of good. They're just fucking.
The last time I seen Rolo Tomasi was in Antianis, and I would say it was roughly
a long time ago.
It must have been about, I would say 2011, 2010 maybe.
Yeah, maybe earlier.
Yeah, so
back in the past,
about 7 or 8 years ago. I thought it was absolutely trunks, to be honest with you.
Well, no, trust me. Get down to this. It will be on
10th of June. What's that?
It's a Sunday night.
I don't think I'll be at that, quite frankly.
Fuck work, just go.
Sorry, that's nothing to do with work. I think of other things. Okay, one band I'm going to mention, not necessarily a metal band, but they've got links to a metal band, is the Bonnevilles. They're doing a show called The Funniest Album Launch in History, which is, funny enough, their album launch.
Barry the Blender, isn't it? What the fuck?
Support comes from Colin Geddes. I'm going to be honest with you, I have no fucking
I love him. That's Barry the fucking Blender.
Barry the
Blender Henderson. Flying fucking head.
But that's him just doing his normal stand-up. Not I would assume it wouldn't be
here. That's
you might throw a wee bit of that in, but surely if it's Barry that he would advertise.
He might be doing a musical.
But the fact that
he does. Colin Geddes is the fella who is Barry the Blender.
Oh yeah,
regular stand-up.
He does his own stand-up.
Hopefully
which is pretty damn good. Like.
Yeah, but the thing that's throwing me is the fact that there's even a stand-up comedian on there. So
I like it.
That sounds pretty good. 15th of June in the Mandela Hall.
What other band are they in?
Who?
Cursed Son.
They share a drummer with Cursed Son.
Yes.
What else have we
got? Used to drum in Senescence, used to drum in fucking loads of bands. Chris is brilliant.
On the 16th of June in the Limelight, it looks like one of the Rock D gigs, we have the return of Bad Boat.
Amazing.
Bad Boat would be a heavy... Would you say stoner metal?
Yeah, very bluesy. Very
bluesy stoner metal.
Their singer Tom, one of those
there's a bit of a punk element to them as well.
Ever.
Tom, there is no one in a band in Belfast that is as Belfast as him.
I fucking love Tom.
There is zero pretense with stage banter.
He told us about that they were getting back together at the night before the DP18 gig. He was at the Iron Maiden tribute in the Errigal, and he was off his fucking bollocks, like.
Yep.
And he was basically saying, yeah, you can't tell anyone, but yeah, we're Bad Boat are getting back together. It's like, fuck, happy days. Mm-hmm. So we didn't kill anyone either. So
support there from Thunderwolf and Victim Royale. So just to repeat, that is
Victim Royale.
Fuck me every single time.
You know what? I actually
they have to change their name.
Love Victim Royale. Before we did the Metal of the Masses heat with them, Makitos, there was one of their songs, SP155 or something, and I fucking loved it. It was talking to them before the gig. Are you playing this song? No.
Ooh.
No, I'm not playing that one. Bastards.
That Smoke Break. I love Smoke Break by them. I think Thunderwolf and Victim Royale. I think one thing I just want to briefly say about that gig is I think that's proof that doing Metal to the Masses can give you those links and will lead on to more gigs and stuff.
The Thunderwolf guys worked it, and so did Victim Royale. Victim Royale turned up to pretty much every show.
They were brilliant.
And they fucking, that's how you do this shit. These bands that don't turn up, and
those guys.
It's like, this is how you make these connections. Victim Royal went out fairly, after their the second heat, but the thing is, they're now getting gigs because they talk to people. Their sound is fuck.
Sound guys, brilliant guys.
Like back when I was in a band, we played with bands that necessarily we didn't like musically, or they didn't like us. But you'd hung out with them because you played in the same gigs and you had the crack, and you're like, fuck, we like hanging out with those guys. And that's how you do it. But then that's another topic. Yeah.
Bit more punk for those people that are into the punk music. 16th of June, you've got UK Subs. Support comes from Buck Egypt. Confrontation Time, who I've not heard of. And...
Says it all.
Barely fucking say it.
Sounds like a load of Buck Egypts.
Terry Hooley is supporting. I'm sure that'll be a blast.
What's singing or DJing or?
He's just gonna play some record,
some undertone songs.
I have beef with Terry Hooley. Let's not move into that.
I've had chicken with him. He's alright.
Fuck me. All I asked was for him to play one song for me on my birthday, right? And I said, it doesn't matter anything, Iron Maiden, Metallica, Slayer, whatever, just play a heavy metal song for me, it's my birthday. And he told me, I'm not allowed to play that stuff. And it's like, aren't you the legend?
What?
Aren't you the legend,
They
Terry
used
Hooley?
to fob you off with that in the limelight as well.
He's not allowed to play that in Lavery's.
What would happen if he did? Would the universe implode or something? Or
probably
what?
got fucked up.
I've sat in there when fucking DJs have played Run to the Hills, so
Yeah.
Anyway, suck my plums.
I've got those guys that play like fucking Avenged and Lamb of God and shit.
I just didn't like it. I mean, I don't know.
I can understand that.
That's in Belfast Empire on 16th of June. UK Subs. Next up in June, a gig that I am. Actually, this is not in Belfast. This is not the gig I thought it was.
Bangor.
19th of June.
Bangor.
19th of June. Lockhorns are releasing their album,
which is amazing,
in the Goat's Toe in Bangor. From what I'm aware, this is sort of a trial of putting metal gigs on in the Goat's Toe in Dublin again.
They have actually. They did used to do them.
I
think that bar, they missed an opportunity. They should have called it the Camel's Toe. That would have been way funnier, and people probably would have went.
Yep.
The Camel's Toe.
Yeah, so that's 19th of June, Goes to in Bangor. I didn't see anything about support there, so who cares? It's Lockhorns, it's enough. 22nd of June, we have a gig in Alexander's Bar in Lisburn, and I'm not going to badmouth Alexander's this time.
Lisburn isn't all that shit, you know?
It is.
Sometimes it can be alright.
See, I didn't even have to say it was shit. And
not all that shit. You've got that swimming pool, you've got that cinema.
Oh, it's got a fucking...
It's not all that shit. It's okay sometimes.
I didn't even need to criticise Lisburn before you jumped to its defence.
I wasn't criticising it.
No, I didn't need to, and then you jumped to the defence.
It is
fucking Lisburn. Anyway, Sudden Strike Promotions. The gig's in Alexander's on the 22nd of June. They've got, as far as I'm aware, 3 bands on that bill. It's Indominus, Genova, who I highly recommend actually go to this.
I've not heard them yet, but
they actually
so many people say
good things in Cork.
They won a competition, like a bottle of bands, to go play Mammoth Fest, the thing that we just mentioned earlier that the Crown are playing.
I've played them before in Dublin, and they're amazing guys, brilliant guys, brilliant band as well. Yeah, they're class.
Do you not know one of the guys? Again, it's one of those names I keep forgetting. I apologise. But he's a Game of Thrones extra regular.
You need to narrow it down.
Probably know him on Facebook or something. Yeah.
And then the third band is Congenital Abnormalities.
They
are looking for 2 more bands to play that. So if you're free on the 22nd of June and you're in a band, give them a shout. You can give them a shout.
No, because we've been booked for gigs like that, and our guitarist Keith is in Dubai, chopping heads off or whatever the fuck we do in Dubai. He's going on holiday to Dubai to try and not touch other dudes in case he goes to jail or something.
TWKOM goes political.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what they're doing in Dubai, but
you heard
he's in Dubai.
You heard it here first. Keith from Kidos goes to Dubai to chop people's heads off.
Whatever they do there, I don't know.
His new name is now Keith the Executioner.
Keith the Executioner. He would like that. I'm gonna tell him.
Metal as fuck.
Christ alive. 23rd of June.
Yes.
That's good.
Liam's clearly not interested in this one.
Don't give a fuck.
There is a gig on in the Limelight. This looks like a rock D.
You're not interested in this either.
The headline band is This Place Hell, who I believe
Brilliant.
did they win?
They did. They
Metal to the
won
Masses?
Dublin
Yep.
Metal to the Masses.
So they're the
Or
winners.
Woodstock.
They're the Irish winners.
Winners of Metal to the Masses.
Lovely guy. They used to be called The Devil Wants Her Swagger Back. They've been
Oh
around.
shit! Is that the same band?
Yeah.
Same band.
That's what I said
around
when
a
he told me that
long
earlier.
time. Lovely guys.
Uh-huh.
Anytime we played down south with them, they've been nothing but accommodating and nice, and just couldn't say enough nice things about them.
Right,
Good
cool.
dudes.
I think that is one we will very much likely be down to.
Yes.
Support comes from Dunham Day and Tars.
That's epic.
Yeah.
I've heard the Tars. Nobody's heard it yet. I've heard the Tars EP. It's fucking brilliant.
I've heard some of the new material live. I just haven't heard it recorded yet.
Brilliant. Everyone's in for a really good surprise when it comes out.
It's fresh as from what I've heard anyway from the live stuff. It is so fucking fresh. It's one of those. Do you ever listen to a band and just go?
It's like nothing else that's come out of
you
it
can't go.
before. Like
they sound like Hatebreed, or they sound.
No,
like,
they don't sound like nothing else.
They don't sound like anything you'll know. Someone said to me that there was loads of like southern riffs in there, kind of malevolency stuff. But
No.
that's not what I got from it live.
It's almost more melodic and
There
technical.
was-
Like
It was almost like I've heard people try and mix hardcore with like grungy stuff, right? And it sounds utterly wank. It's almost like they have managed to do something like that. There's something a bit sort of dark about it. There's definitely
which is
something
surprising because there's a
dark
lot
about
of clean and quiet parts.
it. Yeah, but
There's a lot of everything. It's almost indescribable. I couldn't compare it to anyone else without mentioning other bands that aren't even metal.
if I had to guess, I would say that the lyrics in there are really fucking horrible. I just get the feeling there's really, like, you don't want to sit down and read those things on a nice day. That's the impression I get. But yeah, I think that will be a cracking gig.
The artwork as well to the Tars EP or album or whatever is it's one of the best
tunes.
Well,
The tunes are amazing.
I've not heard them, but they've released the artwork, and it's one of
So
the
good.
best things I've seen in a long time.
Okay, moving on. We also have Lockhorns doing the album launch, their Belfast album launch, which is on the 28th of June in Voodoo.
The new Voodoo. The new and improved. Voodoo.
Support comes from your good self.
Yes.
And that band of yours, Ketos.
Lemons.
And also Heel of Achilles,
Brilliant.
who I keep calling Heels of Achilles, but it's Heel of
Heels of
Achilles.
I don't like them.
For a long time, I
like
thought
them.
I didn't like Heel of Achilles, and it turns out I was getting them mixed up with Symptoms of Silence.
I like them as well.
Both awful bands.
Yeah,
Come on.
so I'm actually looking forward to that.
Look, to be fair, I've not heard. I've seen both of them live on the same bill,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I was not impressed. In fact, I became quite militant against both of them because I thought they were both awful. I will maybe have to go back and re-listen, but I'm pretty sure from what I heard about Symptoms of Silence at North Lane,
Yeah.
my view is still going to hold strong.
Right, Joe from Symptoms of Silence is actually cousins with Sweeney from Death of a Salesman, the original drummer. There's like a whole family link there. I love Josh, the producer, who is responsible for most of the metal coming out of Ireland right now, especially up his end. Used to be the singer of that band. They're really, really fucking good. I like them anyway, but
I think one thing we've established is you like everything.
not everything, but everything.
30th of June, there is an interesting show coming up, and again, it's a distortion project.
Mm-hmm.
I've just realised that I keep saying Rock D, but I did get it confirmed
Rock.
from James that it's Rock KD.
Because it used to be in Katie Daly's.
It used to be Katie Daly's,
I remember
KD
that.
stood for Achilles.
I was just always said rock.
Rock KD.
Them Saturday afternoons in Katie Daly's years and years ago, they were brilliant.
Oh, they were awesome.
Like,
You really felt like you
like
were-
there's no stage or nothing, just go up in the top tier of the bar.
You really felt like you were
Fucking
rocking
gives a
out in a room that you really shouldn't have been.
Mhm.
Like you're standing there head and banging just in a bar, you know.
Who gives a
I
fuck,
used to
like,
love
it
it.
was brilliant.
But on the 30th of June, there is an old band doing a one-off,
One night only.
one-night only reunion.
Very old people.
And it's a band
Elderly.
called Interrogate, who I actually discovered. We were talking about Glasgowbury earlier. That's the first time I seen them. Interrogate. I remember seeing them in the Limelight where they had pole dancers on stage.
That was one of their launches. I go even further back with them. I Interrogate used to play with my old band 99 Knives all the time. Still very close with Andy. Very good.
I
dude.
go even further back. I remember when they very first started, and it was pretty much a whole different lineup.
Dual vocalists.
Yeah,
Yep.
and my old band, you're talking what, 1999, 2000.
Something like 2005, 2006.
No, there was a band from around where I'm from, because Darren, their bass player, is from my neck of the woods as well, and there was a band, Interrogate, they started around,
there was a point when Darren was actually the frontman. They did a 3-piece thing.
So they've been going since then.
I'm so excited for this one because I remember them from back in the day, and they've always been brilliant.
Andy's
always been brilliant. I've seen them doing everything from the front page to supporting Rage and Speedhorn in the Spring and Airbreak or Limelight 1 or whatever the fuck they call it.
I don't know them, their stuff at all, because
class.
I lost track on them. But I'm excited to see Andy back on a stage again.
Their guitars, their bass, their drums, everything was
Darren used to be
good.
Darren used to be like proper fucking punk. I was actually in a for like about 4 or 5 weeks in a band with him.
I'm sure he'll love that. Darren used to be proper fucking punk.
Yeah, no, he's
not now. He's corporate as fuck. Sold out.
The thing is, he was never metal. He hated metal, and then he seemed to morph into it. But yeah, I'm excited to fucking see these guys, because, like I said, it's good to see Andy back on stage.
They say it's one night only, but I really hope it's not. I really hope it ignites some sort of fire that gets it going again, because that band's awesome. And then there's By Any Means as well.
Support with them is By Any Means, which means I'm probably going to end up on stage myself.
And then some of the fuckers who nobody cares
Ketos again. How many gigs you guys playing in June?
Literally just those two. Because we were doing more recording shit, and that takes time. Obviously.
Okay, here's where the problem lies, because on the same night,
it doesn't.
One's early, one's late.
Because the Interrogate show is in the Limelight, you'll be finished by 9 o'clock, half 9.
But this one starts at 7.
The problem is there's 4 bands, because it's Johnny McKee again.
Shut the fuck up and let me actually say what the gig is. Okay, so on the same night, on the 30th of June, across the road in the Foundry, you have, it's actually a headline show by Baylor, who I just talked about. So no matter what, get yourself to Foundry and see Baylor. It's a Shizney show, and support comes from Death of a Salesman, Dunham Die, and Axe Catcher. To me, those 4 bands, fuck me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The fact that now there is overlap between the Interrogate show and the
James and Johnny sorted
the
out.
Shizney show.
No, Johnny sorted out.
Make it later. Fuck the nightclub after. They don't need that. Just make the gig slightly
But
later.
the thing is, the good thing is the Baylor show is free entry.
Yeah, you can just turn up.
So and because they're right next to each other, you know it's easy to do a bit of a run across. I think that's
the only thing though.
At an absolute guess, I would say you could catch all of the Interrogate show, because if you're going to the Interrogate show, you're going to stay and watch Interrogate. I think that goes without saying.
Especially if it's one night only.
I imagine if you left as soon as Interrogate were over, you'd have missed Axe Catcher in the Foundry, and I'd say you'd probably catch half of Dunham Die.
Well, the thing is, like, doors are at 7. I reckon you're talking Axe Catcher on at 7:30 at the latest.
Johnny, make it later.
If there's a club night on in there, right?
Apparently at 10 or 11 or something.
That means doors at 7. People will be kicking out at 10. That'll be 4 bands.
You just need a club night. There's enough club nights in Belfast.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they're going to make a shitload more money off those club nights than they are off these.
Well, that's always the case.
Yeah, but because that's a free gig, I think it means running across is going to be fucking.
The thing about the Foundry though, have you ever been to a gig in the Foundry?
Oh yeah, sure, we were there that day.
The stage is it's like the size of this table.
That's alright. Baylor don't use stages.
I know, but we were the Oracle launch was in there.
One of the best gigs this year. So
I literally had to have the microphone stand beside me because there was literally no room.
No, right. Can I just say, from a photographer's point of view, take the mic stand and fuck it away somewhere and just hold the mic.
But where does the mic go when you're getting a drink?
In your other hand?
No.
You have 2 hands?
No. Sometimes you need both of them for 2 drinks. And all that there. It's handy to leave it somewhere and forget about it for a minute.
Fuck it on the floor and pick it up again.
But I can't believe I'm going to say a sentence that ends with "are for posers," but mic stands are for posers.
Or for holding your microphone so you can do other shit.
Or hammered as fuck people that can't quite hold themselves.
It also is a great crutch. Yes, it is. It's really good for a crutch as well. But there was no fucking room for it. Like, it's the extend your fucking stage, Foundry. Fuck me, Jesus Christ.
Right, I'm gonna sneak in one last gig as a favour. There is a comedy night on, and you're like, what the fuck? This isn't about comedy. There's a comedy night by some guys called The Sixth Sense. It's in the Mac. It's on Saturday the 30th at 7 o'clock. I'm gonna be honest. don't go.
I've seen The Sixth Sense before.
Go to Interrogate or go to the Foundry and support heavy metal.
Yeah.
But if you're
It's the
not
same
going,
fucking day.
but if you're not going to those things, and you want some comedy, go to the Sixth Sense. Their show's called #. Put a sick
The
in
Sixth
it.
Sense are brilliant. I've seen them opening for Hardy Bucks in the Foundry. Funny fucking
The,
bastards.
the reason I mention it is Andy from Cursed Son is
and his brother Cax,
is
ex
in that
bassist
show,
from
and
Cynicism.
Cax used to be in Cynicism,
And they're brilliant.
Some other
Actually,
bands.
they're very funny.
And that kind of wraps up our gig listings for June. Only took a few minutes, like, so it's worth doing, isn't it?
Get it, indeed.
Okay.
Album reviews.
So this month's reviews is going to consist of a single and an album. We'll start with a single. The single is by Indominus, a band we've talked about at length before. It's called Ambivalence, in brackets, Stood Still. It is a sort of I guess it's a death metal-y thing with a slew of other influences thrown in there, and the idea is that they're going to throw out a series of singles throughout 2018 and follow that through into 2019 with a bunch more singles, just releasing a track at a time. We've talked about, the idea of releasing EPs versus releasing albums. We haven't really talked about the idea of just throwing out single tracks one at a time, but that's what they're deciding to go with. It's going to be released early June, is what we're told.
It's out now.
It's out now.
Spotify. No.
Sorry, it's out now. I guess it is early June.
Yeah.
This is the 5th of June
Yeah.
today.
Liam, what do you reckon to it?
I don't know. It's got some good moments,
I would agree with that. Yeah.
But it seems like maybe 3 songs stuck together. The intro, when I first heard it, it's like, okay, this isn't what I was expecting. It has a very kind of Sepultura Roots kind of vibe, that tribal intro thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear this tom thing and you think, right, this is going to be a segue and it's going to kick off. But then all of a sudden the vocals come in and it's this kind of weird...
It kind of slows down instead of picks up.
And it's a weird death metal-y kind of thing or whatever. And you're just like, oh, it was jarring. It didn't, for me, that didn't work.
There's no transition at the start there.
It's not good.
It was the same as game with yourself. The intro, very very chuggy intro, and then like a pitch harmonic, like kind of really like that. And it's, as you say, you get that odd transition into something very different.
The weird tapping bit, like,
and it doesn't flow maybe as well as it should.
Yeah.
Couple of wee things I had about it. There's 2 heavy. I don't mean heavy as in heavy music. I mean heavy as in very very noticeable, very strong, very 2 strong solo sections. And the first of which there seems to be like that noodly solo with a little bit of lighter noodly stuff underneath it. And at that point, I think it finds the song itself is very hollow. It reminds me of, there's points in songs where you get bands with one guitarist, and whenever they go off in that solo, there's nothing kind of chugging it up behind, and it makes it seem empty.
Pantera were a prime example of that, but if you had Dimebag playing the solo, so if you're doing that, the solo has to be fucking out of this world.
If you've got the 2 guitarists, I don't think there's any excuse for that. Now later on in the song, you get another solo section which is very similar, but at that stage the second guitarist's giving like a big heavy chug, right? So that fills it out. That's good. The initial bit, I think, less good.
But the thing is, even you can understand that live because obviously you only have the 2 guys playing.
Yeah.
But when you're in the studio, you can
layer it up
that.
as much as you like.
Layer that up. I used to be dead against that. I used to always to think you only play what you can play live. But then, well, no, live and album are 2 completely different things, which I think I'll touch on later on with the Lock Orange album. But yeah, you beef that up. You have to have that thump behind a solo because the arse drops out of it a lot of times. And even with Pantera, there's a lot of times I'm listening to them and then boom, the solo comes in and it's just like, oh fuck, where's everything else gone?
Yeah.
Vocally,
I'm pretty sure it is one of the guitarists doing vocals. Now, anytime I've seen Indominus live, it's been the guitarist doing vocals. But I am led to believe that on that last release that we talked about before, which we said a lot of very good things about, Legion Within, I think they had a dedicated vocalist, at least for the recording of it.
That would make a lot of sense.
Different vocalist now.
Yeah, it's one of the
guitarist. Mark, is it?
No, Mark's the bass player.
Right.
And to
Simon,
me, there is a noticeable decline in the quality of vocals. If they were looking for advice, my advice would be, if you can get a dedicated vocalist back onto that band, I would be absolutely up for that. As you say, this might sound pretty harsh, is what I've said so far. There's definitely good bits in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good bits in it. The playing is fantastic. Like the skill on the drums, the basic guitar, it's undoubtable. Like those guys can play like fuck.
Oh yeah, no doubt there.
It's brilliant.
But then the thing is, like the solos, to me, they didn't really. The solo should be something that just elevates a song, and it should complement the music and stuff. And for me, it didn't. It was like, here's what I can play.
Another section.
It sounded very sterile. Like you guys, with Keith is undoubtedly one of the fucking best guitarists in this country.
Else, like,
and every time he plays, it's like
ridiculous.
Everything. Yeah, you're just like Jesus. But I think with a solo with this, it was. I don't know. It just.
I liked it. It made me feel like I was fucking like spinning around, especially when the second harmony came in, like the descending melody of it. I loved it. Thought it was great. It had a great feeling to it. I know it was done up in Bearcat Studios. It was a combination of Johnny Monroe and Josh.
Okay. One
engineered it, one mixed it. Can't remember who now. I was speaking to them recently, but they got a great sound up there. There's a lot of good stuff coming out of that studio.
The stuff coming out of there, I think, is exceptional.
Usually is. I think the production on this wasn't great. Okay. The drums for me are very kind of low down. Although, ironically, as I was saying to you earlier, the actual sound of the drums, for once, there's actually some kind of resonance and life to them, which is something that I think's missing from an awful lot of metal stuff these days. But yeah, I don't know. It seemed more like a demo to me than an actual single release.
I think overall the song could have been simplified. I think there's too much in there.
There's definitely a big Gojira influence at times.
That's one thing you mentioned earlier that I didn't really pick up on that, and it's maybe because I like Gojira so much that if someone compares something to Gojira, I'm just gonna go, that's not.
Oh no, yeah, it's not at that.
They had a very
they've clearly listened to Gojira and
metal influence into it, like especially with the vocals. They wouldn't be out of place playing with like the likes of Draconis or Overoth or something. Vocal style wise, but
I would agree with it that they would go on the bill with those bands fine, but
they get their ass kicked.
Draconis especially, to me, what Draconis are doing at the minute is something
it's next
really,
level.
really special.
Saul's fucking unbelievable.
It's taken, again, I'm going to mention hooks. You don't get hooks in fucking black metal or death metal.
Yeah.
You just don't. And they throw these massive hooks in there.
Yeah.
And that's what draws me into Draconis. You know,
I think it's because obviously the Waylander thing as well. Like
if you listen to Let Us Pray, it is just fuck me. It is. Sorry, we've just went off on a gush about Draconis when we should be talking about Indominus.
We love you.
There's overall with the Indominus track, there is definitely talent in there. There is definitely the ability to write good songs. I just don't think they nailed it on this one.
No,
it has made me look forward to hearing more. I mean, definitely. Like, there's a lot of skill in there.
That EP that we looked at last time, that was fucking great, and that made me excited. I was, we even said in the podcast how disappointed we were that live it just did not work.
Yeah,
I think they maybe need to sit down and kind of reevaluate how they present themselves.
Yeah,
because when you're playing that style of music, it's not 3 or 4 guys wearing street clothes up on stage. You've got to present a unified front. You've got to actually have some kind of theatricality, even if it's just all wearing like a similar uniform type dress,
corpse paint or any
not even that there, but just all looking the same. And all
Although I did say at the Tragedy gig, they were fucking brilliant. Even just watching their sound check, I remember being blown away by the shredding the early guitarist was doing. It was brilliant.
I really would like to see them again.
Your experience then would be the polar opposite of ours, because we were like, oh fuck, they're brilliant on record. Live doesn't live up to it.
Yeah.
Whereas
you're sitting going better. It was more impressive live to see all that shit happening in front of you.
I don't want. We'll leave it at that. based on the fact that it is only one song, so
Yeah.
you know,
Hopefully,
realistically,
everything else that comes.
we
is
can
gonna
we
be
can't we can't give it a whole lot of time. Again, we would normally give scores to albums, and I don't want to score a single song.
No, I don't think it's.
There's been many bands that have put out a single song that I've went, that's a bit wank, and then the album comes, and when it sits in amongst that album, it makes a lot more sense. So on the basis of that, I don't want to score it based on one song. So we'll move on. This month there is the release of an album that I have been busting for absolutely ages, and that is Lockhorn's album. Lockhorns have released an 8-track album called Moulin l'Abbé, and I'm going to take the lead on this.
What does it mean again?
I can't fucking remember.
Lauren told us.
Lauren
Greek.
told us.
Some Greek thing.
I can't remember what it means.
I thought you had that written
Means get her bucked.
down. Oh,
It does not mean get her bucked.
It does.
I hope it does. To be honest, that's what it means now.
One thing I'll say about the album to start off with, there was no surprises for me. The Lockhorns have literally delivered exactly what I've expected, and that's based on the fact that I've seen them live easily a dozen times delivering these songs to the point where I knew, or at least thought I knew, quite a bit of the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, so I knew these songs. 6 out of 8 of these songs are immediately recognizable whenever I put it on. And those 6 songs I absolutely adore. I love this album from fucking start to finish.
What's your favourite track?
My favourite track's Blood and Oil, without a
Oil.
doubt. Blood and Oil, I think, is
What about
absolutely
yours?
brilliant. I think we should come to Liam in a bit, because I want to gush for a wee bit longer.
Yeah.
There's so many, especially from
They're all
local
fucking great.
from local artists. There is times when you get albums and you start picking out 1 or 2 tracks or 3 or 4 tracks that you really like. Of these 8, there are 6 that I think are absolute stone cold bangers. It's Stagnant, the title track Moulin l'Abbé, Low, Blood and Oil. In fact, it's 7. It's everything except the last track. The last track doesn't quite land with me. I think it's if you know the band, they're very, very genty, but at the same time, and I mentioned this during the interview with them, it's sort of like graspable gent. There's always that 4/4 so that you can headbang, so that you can find that beat and move with that beat whenever you're listening to it. The last track, Quietus, seems to be the one where they've experimented a wee bit more and went a wee bit further down the gent path. But this to me is just, I think it's stunning. I think it's brilliant. I think it's so well crafted. It sounds so good. The playing on it is outstanding. Vocally, Alex is just brilliant. There's bits where he sounds like Randy Blythe. Then there's bits where he even sounds like Jonathan Davis from Korn.
I was going to say that as well. Yeah.
There's another bit where it sounds a wee bit more like the sort of vocals you get with Gojira, but at the same time, none of it sounds like it's ripping anything off. It's all still got its own character. I can't say enough good things about this album. And the other thing is, I'm so glad to have it now. It came with the lyrics, so I'm going to get to know the words so that whenever we go down to sing it, it's like any gent album. It's not verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. And my problem with that style of music is, I talk about this all the time, you lose hooks. You've no hooks. They have this habit of, even the songs without verses and chorus, there'll be like repeated lines. And those repeated lines are so big that gives you what you need.
Like
gives you
Blood and
hook.
Oil, is it the you will lose all of your lust? That one. There's a
You
lot.
would give me all your lust. I can't remember the words. Too much beers.
It's good. It's fucking good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm pointing at. That's in a nutshell what I think of it. Pete, what do you reckon?
I was so impressed when I first came across it. That my favorite track on it is Low. The guitar riff, the vocals, the structure, everything is brilliant. It's their number 1 song on Spotify at the minute, I think, because of me. Because I've been repeating it non-fucking stop for days and days on end. Every time I'm doing anything, it's fucking on. Love it. The guitar sound, the vocals, the drums, a bit like you can't say a bad thing about it. Everything's been nailed. I know they've been working on it for like 3 fucking years. With Josh Robinson again, fucking godfather of metal up north right now. Fucking hats off to them. They've showed everyone how it should be done, and it's fucking amazing. I love it.
Artwork as well. Something as simple as that is just.
And they're such fucking cool
so
guys
cool.
as well. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't meet a nicer bunch of dudes. Fucking 10 out of 10 for me. It's brilliant.
I was going to ask for scores in a bit, but you've jumped ahead. But sure, Liam, go ahead, go and piss on our chips now.
Here, see, right, here's the thing, right? I get slagged off for being the main guy. Everything we've reviewed so far, I've pretty much loved. Bar this.
Right.
It's, you know what? It's not bad, but I don't know. I just don't get the whole genty thing. For me, you're saying, you know, the lack of hook thing is a massive thing for me. There's no hooks in there for me. It's like Alex's vocals at times are great. Everyone's playing is brilliant. And, like, Alex has that scream, and Jesus Christ, that like reaches right down. It's primal as fuck. But when he's doing the clean vocals, it doesn't. I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. And
I
a lot
actually
of it,
prefer the cleans on some of the stuff. I think that's when it elevates it a bit for me. Like,
there's a lot of it just sounds very new metal to me. It has that kind of riff structure, especially I think a couple of the ones that are especially new metal to me. Pages, that intro riff is plus the vocal line just makes me, you know, want to listen to Juno by Funeral for a Friend.
not a bad thing.
No, definitely not a bad thing, you know. Yeah, Blood and Oil's another one. It starts off, it is like this old school thrash kind of intro, and you're like, fuck, right? But then it slides into just a new metal kind of rhythm with, it's, I don't know, it just doesn't.
I don't want to argue with you per se, but you say there's no hooks, right?
For me, there's not.
The song Pages.
The fucking chorus in
Take
low.
another page from this burning book in my hand.
Yeah.
That line.
Oh no, that's
That
right.
line is a hook so heavy you could hang soggy duffel coats off that hook.
Not for me.
That is fucking right
not
there.
For it's not. It's just not enough. It's see the whole genty thing, that whole stop start. I can't get any flow out of it. You know, it's they're starting to do things and then they'll take it back and it just doesn't work.
One
for
thing
me
I have to
at
ask.
all. And
You'd seen them live a bunch of times.
see, yeah, that's the difference.
Did you expect to like this?
Yeah, because I like them live.
That's
really like them live, and this is the thing. It was, we had this discussion with Lauren. She couldn't get her head around it. It's like, well, live, it's a whole different thing because you're in a room with a bunch of people.
I get that.
There's a vibe with the crowd. Plus, Alex is a fucking demon on stage. You're getting that energy off them on stage. You get sucked up into it. Like
I was actually the opposite. Love them live. Love them even more for that.
Yeah, damn right.
It elevated it for me. Because when you're live, you're there. You're fucking drinking beers. You're partying. You know, whatever. You could forget half of it by the time you get home. It's always good crack. But this is something you could have on while you're sitting in work.
No, I'll be honest. I don't think I'll ever listen to this again. Possibly after seeing them live, and I don't want to come across as just fucking hating on them because live they are one of the best fucking bands in this country. I would have no fucking fears putting them up against anybody. But it's not an album I would actually sit and listen to. I don't like the gent thing.
Yeah,
that's right. And a lot of it to me is, I think you hit on it when you said, it's like gent, but they stay more like 4/4.
Yeah,
that's where I'm getting the new metal kind of vibe from it, and it just doesn't. One song though, actually, Machines has this fucking just the intro, like the verse and all, is this sleazy fucking riff. It's like got a swagger to it. It kind of reminds you a wee bit of Therapy's Shameless album, but obviously metal, and it's just got this kind of it's got a sleazy swagger
to
to
one they discussed with you where like people are obsessed with their fucking phones and shit. And brilliant.
Yeah, but then the problem with that one is then the chorus-ish type part of it just doesn't live up to the verse, and I just don't dig the gent thing, and I'm never going to.
That's the thing that throws me, I think, about you not liking is that you expected to like it, but to me this is exactly what we've been getting on stage.
But
This
that
is
goes to the
exactly
whole thing of live. You're in a room full of people. You get sucked up into an atmosphere. Like I've been to gigs, like festival stuff, and there's bands that I really don't like, but then I see them at a festival and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm enjoying this because you're there with a bunch of people. Everyone's enjoying it. There's an energy coming off.
I totally get that, but in that situation, like a good example would be Winterfilth. I remember seeing Winterfilth at a Hard Rock Hill Metal, right? And I was standing there watching it going, live, this is incredible. This is brilliant. But at the same time, I kind of knew, and I was self-aware enough that I knew that, given this on record and stick it on in the car on the drive to work, I wouldn't dig it.
Well, I'm glad you brought them up because I saw them at Bloodstock last year. Fucking loved them. Although I think, this is what happens when you get 3 history teachers trying to play black metal. They just have that vibe about them. But their new album is pretty much just all folk. It is, and it is without doubt the best album I've heard this year. It's one of the most beautiful albums I have ever heard. So just a wee shout out to them, and anyone who wants to hear something a wee bit different, check that out. But yeah, live, you can get sucked up into things because you're in a room full of people. There's a different thing. When you're sat down listening to something and being critical, then you start seeing the flaws and excuse me. It just doesn't. There's not those melodic hooks that bring me in. It's too jerky, stop-starty. And
do you think, having heard the album now and being not keen on it, do you think when you go back and see them live, do you think it's going to have a negative impact?
I hope not.
Impact.
in
their live show?
I really hope not, because like I said, I love seeing them live, and I think they should be fucking put on that Bloodstock bill, because they're a band I could see easily playing like early slots on the main stage, at Download even, an opening band.
I mean, there's still in their infancy, there's still a lot of time to fucking go. There's still still a lot to happen.
There's a lot of good stuff there. Like I said, I like the album, but it's not something I would go back to. Oh, by the way, just found out the title of the album, "Come and Take Them" in Greek.
Come and take them.
An expression of defiance. It's like just saying, "Come on, fuckers, come on, have a go."
Okay, so you don't love it, you like it.
I like it. I won't listen to it again. I might, if I saw them live, I might. But
what does that translate into as far as marks out of 10?
Marks out of 10. If I'm being completely objective and taking the live thing out of it, I'm gonna have to say 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Pete, marks out of 10.
I'd give it the full fucking 10.
Full marks.
Yeah, actually, because it surpassed every expectation I had. I heard the other tracks were released, seen them live, and then when this came out, I think it was sitting up one night. It was a Sunday night or something that came out. They were at the bank holiday Monday last week. Literally sat up for hours listening to it. Woke up the next day with sore fucking ears because I had my fucking headphones blasting all night. Really impressed. Love it. Gonna put it on again when I get home.
10 out of 10. Could you get your calculator out?
I can get my calculator out. Usually you ask me to get other things out, but whatever.
Easy on. I absolutely love the album.
So 6 plus 10.
But it would take a lot for me to give anything 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 implies there
is he's just like an excitable kid at Christmas with an overload of sugar.
10 out of 10 implies to me that.
See, I was looking forward to it.
See, 10 out of 10 is master.
I was just saying, I've been busted this.
10 out of 10 is master of puppets. Or Troublegum.
I wouldn't even give Master of Puppet. I definitely wouldn't give Troublegum 10 out of 10.
Yeah, dicks.
Jesus. There's a few fucking clangers on that. Anyway, I am giving it as many marks as I can without going the full 10 out of 10. So for me, it's 9 out of 10. So if you can do 9 plus 10 plus 6 divided by 3,
8.3
gives us 8.3 reoccurring. So
just round it up to 9.
I think we've been rounding.
That's an 8. And to be fair,
we've been rounding to the nearest half. So 8.5
out
of 10.
Yeah.
8.5 out of 10 for Lockhorns, Molon Labe. Regardless of what any of us thinks of it, you should definitely check it out yourself.
Fuck yeah.
iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, all the usual stuff. If you don't want to commit, they've got at least 3 tracks on YouTube.
Go to a fucking show.
Go down.
I check them live.
For definite.
Yeah,
the album
you
launch
really
at the
need
end of
to
the month
see that,
because they really are an outstanding band. even if you didn't like their music, their live show's so good. The way Reese plays bass, the way Alex conducts himself on stage, and like
Junior's
wears
fucking
Junior.
guitar.
Yeah, they're one of the finest
Mm-hmm.
bands to play Belfast.
Yeah, Junior's
Check
also
it out.
in fucking Storm Zone as well. He's guitar player for Storm
He is indeed. He spoke about that. If
Man
you
of
didn't-
many talents.
If you didn't see the interview with him, I would say check out the interview as well. Yeah, he spoke a wee bit about how the influences from Storm Zone leak into Lockhorns, which surprised me to a degree. Didn't think that would have been a thing, but there you go.
But I think that's another topic then, people being in two bands, that we probably should touch on.
We will talk about that at some
Jordan.
stage.
People in several bands.
No, I think Geordie has to have his own special.
He may as well just start his own podcast, to be honest. But thank you for watching. As always, we're grateful for feedback. Let us know what you thought. If there's things in the podcast that you think is a load of our bollocks, tell us and we'll cut it out. If there's
Or we'll
ideas-
just ignore you.
We could do that too. Or if there's things you'd like us to include, if you want to get involved, you want to come on here, get in contact, we'll have you on. I think Pete's had a decent bit of crack tonight. Joining this.
We're gonna drink some more beers.
We definitely are. Even though I have work in the morning, I'm sure I can
Fuck
squeeze
work.
it.
You don't need to go to work. Work's just
There's people in work nowadays, so like,
fuck work.
I was going to mention something else, but I can't remember what it was. So I think I'll just wrap things up by saying thank you for watching.
Shit. Nikito's song.
Oh yes! As soon as I wrap things up, there will be a new Keto song right at the end of the podcast.
Special
so
exclusive.
stay tuned.
And can I just
Listen
say,
to that.
it is a fucking bruiser. They're throwing the kind of shade fucking trivium used to throw when they were
that's the
actually relevant.
The track is called
Into the Maelstrom.
Into the Maelstrom.
And it's a special track because all the other tracks.
Because you are all special.
No. All the other tracks are actually like, when you listen to it, can actually be quite depressing. When you listen. But this one is about how much we love fucking music and love fucking metal and how much fun it is. So it's actually quite positive.
Okay.
For once in metal.
I don't know. Do we want that?
You have somehow
But
managed.
if it's about having the crack.
You have somehow managed to hashtag impress Liam. So.
Because they fucking did.
I don't even know if that video is running anymore because that one's dead and that one's dead.
But you've that plugged in, so.
But fuck
Should
knows,
be
things
sweet.
break.
Yeah.
Right? We are dragging this out far too much. Thank you for watching. Please click the little thumbs up button down on YouTube.
Yes.
Subscribe if you can. Like the Facebook page. And as always,
Get her booked.
don't get her bucked.
Get her
Unless
bucked.
you've got consent. Because it's 2018.
Or Conquest.
I'm wrapping this right up now. Keep listening to the wrong kind of music.
Suffer the consequence.